back to Terry Travels. Today is Budget Travel Tips episode 3, Booking Budget Accommodations. Today we're going to be talking about booking hostels. Hostels are the place that I prefer to stay, and you can find out a little bit why I like to stay at hostels in my previous video. And there's a link like here, no, maybe here, or here. Anyway, you can click that link and watch that video and find out why I like, a little bit more about why I like to stay at hostels. Today we're going to be mostly talking about finding hostels and how to book hostels. So when it comes to booking hostels, one of the things is I don't like to pre-book my hostels. With travel and the nature of backpacking, plans change. Or sometimes you really like where you're at and you want to stay longer. Or sometimes you don't like it and you want to just move on. Or sometimes you completely skip a destination or go to a new one. And then canceling those hostels becomes kind of a pain in the butt. Now that being said, I tend to book my first hostel and sometimes my last hostel. And the reason I do that is because when I fly into a new city or country, I kind of like to have a place to go and not have to worry about that, especially if it's late at night. And I like to book my last hostel sometimes because I like to make sure I'm close to a bus station or an airport. So those are about the only times I really pre-book. Oh, unless there's a holiday or some kind of special event, and then you may have to pre-book your hostel because there might not be that many rooms available. Okay, so let's go over ways to look for hostels. Number 1, Google. You can start by searching your destinations and what kind of hostels you might be looking for, like say maybe unique hostels in Peru or great surfing hostels in Nicaragua. Really cool hostel in a place you never even heard of. So now you get to go to a new destination, and it was all because this great hostel. Remember to use keywords in your search like surfing or quiet or near a beach or whatever it is that you're looking for in your hostel. Another one is travel blogs. Read blogs. They are full of great information and tons of tips and recommendations, and usually have great pictures that go with them. I actually have one. So if you want to read a blog, click my link. Besides giving great information, they're usually a really good read. So have a look at some travel blogs. Facebook is awesome. Everybody's on Facebook already, so it's a great place to start. Start by joining travel groups, backpacking groups. These are a great community of fellow travelers who are more than willing to give you any tips and information. Just ask a question. Ask a question like, I'm going to Mexico City on such and such a date. Where's a really good place to stay? I want to be in such and such a district. People will give you more information than you'll even need. But yeah, so join a backpacking group or a travel group. There's tons of them on there on Facebook. These Facebook travel groups are also really great when you're traveling. If you're in a town and you're lonely or want to go out for a drink, you just hit somebody up on one of the groups and maybe they're there too, and you can meet up with them. Also, it's really great to find people maybe to travel with. Maybe you're by yourself and you're looking for somebody to travel with maybe for a week or something. And yeah, hit up the Facebook group. I'm sure there's somebody that'll go along with you. Another one is Hostelworld. Hostelworld is probably the biggest site to find hostels. Hostelworld is a booking site that provides a huge catalog of hostels all over the world. And this site is really great because each hostel comes with pictures, full description, references, room types, and prices. Now, I tend not to usually book with Hostelworld and use them mainly as a tool to look for hostels in the area I'm going, only because they have a small booking fee. But that doesn't take away from that they are a great site and very easy to book through. Last one I'm going to talk about is wander. This is the arrive in a city or country and wander around until you find the perfect hostel. This happens quite a bit when you're backpacking or budget traveling. You may arrive and not have any place to stay. Don't worry, there's tons of hostels out there, and usually you can find a pretty decent one. This also gives you the opportunity to kind of wander around and see what they actually look like, what they really look like before you book. And then you can just book right there. All right, so next we're going to go over a list of things that you want to look for when you're looking for a hostel. There's 10 of them, and the first one is price. The second one is security and lockers. The third one is air conditioning or fans or heat, depending on where you're going. The fourth one is amenities. Does it have a kitchen? The fifth one is location. Location is pretty important. You want your hostel to be either close to a beach or the site, or you want it to be close to the airport or bus station. So location is pretty key. You also want it to be in a safe area. Number 6, look at the reviews. Read the reviews. They're going to give you a really good picture of the hostel. I mean, you'll have to weed out the ones that you think are not real or somebody who just had a bad night. Number 7, Wi-Fi. Now, for some of us, this is extremely important, especially if you're a budget traveler. There's lots of budget travelers out there that are students who are still working on school assignments, or who are actually working from their laptops. And some budget travelers are digital nomads, and this is how they make their living, so they need Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is definitely something you're going to want to look for to make sure that your hostel has Wi-Fi. Number 8 is breakfast. Is breakfast included? Lots of hostels nowadays have breakfast included. This is great. It eliminates having to buy a meal. Sometimes hostels will offer breakfast for an extra $1, which is still a pretty good deal. So yeah, so one of the things I look for when I look for a hostel is if breakfast is included, because it's usually a pretty decent deal on a hostel and it's free food. Number 9 are pictures. I look at the pictures. Pictures are usually what draw me in and get me to choose that hostel, is by, smiling faces, having a great time at a hostel, or really nice decor. If something looks really icky, then from the pictures, I probably wouldn't stay there. The next one is number 10, airport transfer. This is a bonus. If your hostel offers airport transfer, that's great. That's transportation to or from the hostel, But generally they will charge a fee for this. And sometimes that fee is a little bit more than what you'd be paying if you just got yourself there. But it's also nice sometimes if you're arriving into a country, it's late at night, you've never been there before, maybe you're by yourself, and that is a great way to have somebody come pick you up and just take you right to the hostel. No hassle, no stress. Okay, so now we're moving on to Booking Hostel. So if you already know where you're going and what hostel you want to stay at and you want to pre-book, go for it. The process is the same whether you pre-book your hostel or if you book while you're traveling. So now you're armed with a few hostel choices. So let's go ahead and look at the booking process. So the first one is you can book through HostelWorld, hostileworld.com. Book right through the hostel's website. Now you've probably gone on HostelWorld and picked a hostel, so now you can just Google their website. So you can book directly from their website. Is Facebook. Most hostels have a Facebook page. So if you picked a hostel, maybe through HostelWorld or a recommendation or however you found your hostel, you can go on Facebook and book directly through Facebook to that hostel. Is walk-in. We've already discussed this one. This is when you just arrive somewhere and you just walk into a hostel and book. Simple. Okay, so when it comes to booking online, the process is super easy. You're not going to have any issues with this. So you're just going to go on and you're going to choose your dates and your room preference. Then you're going to fill in the rest of your information on the form, your name, your address, whatever, blah, 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 all that stuff. Now, HostelWorld and some hostels may require a small deposit, with the rest being paid when you arrive at the hostel, and generally that's in cash when you arrive. Next, you're going to get a confirmation email that's going to have your booking information, and that's it. You're booked. You booked a hostel. Super easy. I just want to apologize for my voice. I was hanging around with the grandkids a little bit this week, and I seem to have caught some sort of toddleritis. Now remember, all these tips and stories and facts are all based on my own experiences and how I like to do these things. So I hope some of this was helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, please just hit me up below. I will definitely answer you and try and answer the questions as best I can. Okay guys, I guess that's it. I will see you next Friday for Budget Travel Tips episode 4. Not sure what I'm going to be talking about just yet. See you then. Oh yeah, don't forget, click subscribe.